A very good morning to each one of you present here on this auspicious morning. I welcome you all to Skilling on Saturdays. And today we have with us a special guest, Tunvey Gogia. Tunvey, are you there? Most welcome to Skilling on Saturdays. Let me introduce Tunvey. She is a career shaper, a speaker, executive coach, and a voice for authentic growth. With over 3 decades of experience across industries and leadership domain, Tanvi brings a rare blend of executive insight, emotional intelligence, and powerful stage presence. She is a seasoned speaker and transformational coach, known for her magnetic energy, authentic storytelling, and ability to engage rooms from corporate boardrooms to large conference stages. I hope you all might have watched her videos somewhere on the internet. And as a leadership and executive coach, she has worked extensively with senior leaders, C-suite executives, and high potential talent across sectors, including tech, finance, healthcare, education, retail, manufacturing, and many more. Her work focuses on enhancing executive presence, emotional agility, strategic decision making, and authentic leadership qualities. Her talks are described as inspiring yet grounded, offering not just ideas but practical mood shifts. So let us welcome Tanvey on Skilling on Saturdays and invite her to unveil her talents with all of us. Welcome, Tanvey.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's good to be here. It's early morning for me. I don't know where all you're placed in the world, but I'm assuming it's morning.
All over India. Yeah.
Oh, so you're all from India only.
A few people join from various places, but mostly from India.
Nice. So I'm really glad to be here, and I'm going to do a short program called it's called Unbox, and the idea is to unbox some of the beliefs that we hold about ourselves and hopefully flip them to beliefs that work for us, right? Let me just shut the chat for now. Great. It's good to see a few faces. Dr. Manoj, Dr. Renu, Hirani ji, Mr. Om Shivasta, Mr. Manoj Kumar. Well, it's good to see a few faces. Lovely. So I'm going to get started and I'll share my screen with the presentation just because I want to show you a few visuals. And before we start, I want to share a visual to give you a perspective on why what I'm saying is so important for us, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So as human beings, we really are complex beings. And this sailboat metaphor is one that I use frequently because I find it very powerful. Just imagine yourself as a sailboat, right? A sailboat is a complex piece of technology, and it has many parts, right? There is the steering wheel, which are our needs, our values, things that give us meaningful direction. But what does a steering wheel really do? You either turn left or right. You decide I'm going to turn here or I'm going to go there. whether I'm going to do this or that. What it basically means is that our values really decide whether we choose to take up something or we don't. For example, um, you might get an opportunity to cut a few corners, or somebody gives you extra money to do something which may not be illegal, but maybe borderline, well, it's on the line. And some will choose to do it, and some will choose not to do it. This is a simple black and white explanation, but we have so many decisions we make. We choose to say yes or no to certain things, which are aligned with our values. What we at our core believe kind of drives our decision making. And when we make decisions that are aligned with our values, we feel good about those decisions. And when we make decisions that are not valued or not aligned with our values, we tend to feel something is off, or we feel pressured, or we feel stressed about having, taken that decision. Then there is the destination. Where does the sailboat go, right? If you don't have a destination, you'll go for a nice round in the lake or the pond or the ocean and come right back. So destination is goals, your wishes, your dreams, your aspirations. That's what destination is. Leakages are weaknesses or are ineffective coping mechanisms. They are the leakages that I think our whole life we're work in progress. So we keep fixing the leakages in our boats all the time, things that we need to work on, that we need to improve. And sails are the strengths, really a boat moves only because of the sail. You can sit and fix every leakage there is in your boat. You have worked on yourself, and you have fixed every weakness, you have plugged every hole in that boat. But if you don't use your sails, your strengths, the boat is not going anywhere. And many times we are so self-critical that we're only looking at the leakages and we're not looking enough at our sails. And unless you're dealing with debilitating anxiety or depression, or a really serious mental health issue, that's when you take the boat to the dock, dry dock, and you fix the leakages. Sails are at maybe for some time forgotten. But for most of us, our leakages are enough for us to keep functioning. So we keep working on our weaknesses, but we never forget to use our sails, because that's what moves the boat. That's what takes us forward, right? Um, and then there are, you know, then there are more esoteric concepts like a compass. You need a compass, but compass is kind of like your gut feeling, your intuition, um, you know, it's your internal feedback system. It's the emotions, what you're feeling, telling you you're on track or off track. Something's not right. There are so many times in our life where we feel kuch theek nahi hai, something is off. And you don't have an explanation for it, but that's your compass telling you that you need to sit and align yourself because you seem to be veering off course. There's weather, which are uncontrollable circumstances. There are other boats, which are other people, peers, colleagues, family. And water. Water is your geography, your reality, your current situation. And you'll find that, you know, two, three, four, five, and even six, steering wheel, destination, leakages, sails, compass, these are internal. These are in your control. You have no control over your geography in the short run. You have no control over other boats. You have no control over the weather. But what makes a good sailor? What makes a good sailor? A good sailor is someone who has a grip on the steering wheel, on where he's going, on managing the leakages using sails and their own compass. That's the only thing that you have in your control. And if you're a good sailor and you know your boat well, you know the weaknesses and the strengths of your boat, you know where you're going, you have a decent compass, using your steering wheel aligned with your values, you will find that you can manage literally any external circumstance. You can manage bad weather, you can manage other people better, you can manage your current reality better. So you have to understand that the external things are outside of us. But if we become better sailors, you will find that you're able to deal with a lot of external circumstances, and it could be, a storm brewing, and you will be better equipped to deal with it. So today, what we're doing is that we're working on our sailboat, right? That's what we're doing today. Now, this, you know, uh, this program or this little workshop that I'm doing is called Unbox. But what is your box? And is it a problem? Do we all have boxes or we don't have boxes? Now, I want to share something with you. At work or at home, as individuals, we see what we want to see. We only see what we want to see. And this impacts our interaction with people around us. We all want pleasant experiences at work. We all want to feel appreciated. And we all want to have the satisfaction of being productive. But getting there can sometimes be hard. And that's largely because of very powerful psychological forces that align against reinvention. There may be times when you said, I want to start working out regularly. I want to eat healthier. I want to be more disciplined. I want to, uh, be on time or whatever. It could be something small. It could be something bigger. But the point is, we've all at some point wanted to reinvent ourselves. But we find that despite our logical reasoning of why you must do it, you're unable to do it. So this program gives you the tools that you need to identify some of those beliefs that are not working in your favor. And when you flip them, you realize that you start moving towards your full potential or your highest potential, right? And it helps to resolve conflicts in our mind. Our interactions at work and at home become better. It reduces friction, and it creates a mindset of looking inward rather than outward for solutions. Right? Now, so I'll give you my example. I have been told my whole life that I am bhulakkar, forgetful in English. Right? So when I was young, my family would turn around and say, Tanvi, you are forgetful, you're bhulakkar, we'll remind you. So any task given to me, any errand given to me would usually come with the rider saying, we've told you, but we know you'll forget, so we will remind you. And it kind of became part of my identity, right? It became part of my box. I started believing that I am bhulakkar, I am forgetful. And when you start believing, it almost excuses you from even wanting to be better. True or not? How many of you think I'm short-tempered? Right? Yeah, I'm short-tempered. I am forgetful. I can't really, in your case, say I'm not good with numbers because I'm assuming a lot of you uh, are working with numbers on a daily basis. But it could be anything, right? And I am short-tempered, or मैं ऐसा ही हूँ. I'm like this only. This is me. And you can relate to at least one such belief you hold about yourself. Just take a couple of seconds and think about it. That a belief that you truly deeply think this is me. Right? Do you all have one?
Well, I think I personally think it's a difference in personalities. Some have a fixed mindset. Some have what I shall call a developing or a growth mindset. So if you decide to compartmentalize yourself in a fixed mindset, you have not improved, and maybe you will not improve. How you got that fixed mindset would be because you have wrong beliefs, or those around you have made you feel that way. Like in your case, people told you you're a forgetful person. Maybe you were not, but once they told you, you went in that direction. So the weak human mind lets ourselves sail where we don't want to. But on the other hand, if we orient ourselves and if we have a strong will, then we go into that growth mindset. And then we say, hell with you, you can say anything, I'm going to do what I want. And these are people who will, I think, progress.
No, very well said. And I do understand what you're saying. The only problem is when you need to implement it. Today, if I tell somebody, listen, you have a fixed mindset, you need to have a growth mindset. What does that mean? How do we break it down, right? Um, and how do we implement it on a daily basis? So, what I'm really talking about is one such way in which you can develop a growth mindset, right? But I'm not talking about a broader, larger concept like growth mindset because it's a very broad concept. I'm talking about one very small belief that you can unbox about yourself, right? And um, most of us have grown up where maybe our parents or our family or even our teachers did not have access to psychological tools that exist today. So we've all been subjected to things like, "Uff, my child is very shy. Oh, ये तो बहुत quiet है." It could be something, and most of these things are said out of love. They're not said out of malice. My parents or my family didn't tell me I'm forgetful because they didn't like me. They said it because they said, it came from a place of love, saying that, we know you'll forget. It's okay. We'll remind you. And being forgetful or being bhulakkad is not the only one I got. I got some other words as well. I got confident, I got loving, I got outgoing, well spoken. I got many other things as well. But today we're focusing on a belief that is not serving our highest interest. It is not allowing us to grow. So words like loving, confident worked for me. I'm keeping them. They're working for me, right? But there may be certain words that are not working for us, like I'm short tempered. मैं ऐसा ही हूँ या मैं ऐसी ही हूँ. So try and think of one belief that you hold about ourselves. So let's say I got forgetful, I got bhulakkar. And somewhere down the line, when I started working on myself, I realized that I'm not forgetful. I never forget a face. I never forget a voice. I never forget a route I'm traveling on. I have a near photographic memory of something that I have read. So I realize it's not a memory problem. It could be a priority problem, but it's not a memory problem. And so I started changing that belief about myself. And when I did that, today I don't refer to myself as forgetful at all, right? And things change. Yeah, doctor, you've been told that, you're emotionless, strong to deal with anything. Yeah, correct. And the thing is that when we have certain beliefs like this, like you are emotionless, you you almost hesitate to even express your emotions or even acknowledge them yourselves. You know, you're not even, you don't even acknowledge what you're feeling because you're saying, nahi, nahi, ye to main, I can't. This is not me. And it's happening at such deep subconscious level that you don't even realize that it is happening, right? And uh, what we need to understand is that there are filters on the basis of which we see the world. So our beliefs about ourselves is one thing, but we also have similar words and beliefs about people around us. Think of an employee. You'll say, he's very inefficient. This person will never get it right. This person is like this only. And what happens is, one of the most powerful things you realize is that you see what you want to see. For example, if I tell you all to open a world map today on your laptops, I open my world map. Chances are we will all not get the same map of the world. We'll all have something different, right? And let's say we were in different parts of the world, the map would be marked in a different language altogether. And let's say I want to go to Spain on a holiday, or we're planning one Saturday upskilling session in Spain. Now, I know it's Spain because on my map it says Spain. Maybe on your map, it's in a language that you don't fully understand. And I'm saying, listen, go to this part, no, and see this little pink area, no, that pink place, let's go there. And you're saying, no, the purple one looks better. And I'm like, no, the pink one is where we decided to go. And you're saying, no, the purple one looks better. Maybe we are talking about the same place. It's differently colored on different maps. Or it's possible that you know, I'm calling it Spain and you want to go somewhere else, but we're all stuck. Or I say, listen, let's go to this pink place. And you're saying, ha, chalo, chalo, let's go to this pink place. And what I realize is that on my map, it's Spain, but on your map, it's, UK or France. So this is how we interact with ourselves, and this is how we interact with the world, because all of us are going through life based on a map that we see. Our beliefs about ourselves and our beliefs about other people. Right? Let me share a screen with you and I will tell you why this happens. Just a second. Yeah. So when you have these beliefs, they generate an emotion, right? I don't feel it, I'm feeling stressed, or that person's an idiot. This one is constantly out to get me. We have people in the office who we feel are constantly interrupting us or undermining us, or not supporting us, or you say my boss doesn't like me, or this colleague of mine doesn't respect me. There are these feelings that we have. So I want you to just acknowledge a challenging emotion that you may be dealing with right now, right? Now, what you need to understand is that any big asset that you own in life today, right? Could be a car, a house. We all think we can repair it, right? Like, let's say your kitchen ceiling starts leaking. Will you leave the house and say, chalo ji, pani leak ho raha hai, chhod dete hain, let's leave. The water's leaking and we're going. No, you repair it because it's your house. You're living in it, right? Same way with a car, there's an oil leakage or some problem with it. You don't throw the car away, you get it repaired. And your house doesn't decide, no, this should be the drawing room and this should be the bathroom and this should be the kitchen. Your house doesn't wake up one morning and say, no, I don't like the kitchen here. The drawing room should be the kitchen and the kitchen should be the drawing room. You decide. You decide because it's your asset. And the biggest asset we own are actually not cars and houses. The biggest asset we own is our mindset. And like anything, it can be repaired. It can be trained. And there are 2 steps to training your mind. First is you need to understand the mind. And the second then is to reprogram the mind. Now, in order to understand the mind, you need to understand that you have a filter. Right? How many of you have wanted to buy a car and suddenly you start seeing the same car on the road? Everywhere. Right? Happens, no? And like suddenly people are talking about the Thar. Oh, the Thar is such a cool car. So because everyone's buying it, yaar, sab kharid rahe hain, sab. And suddenly you start seeing Thar everywhere. You want to buy a red BMW. And suddenly you start seeing a red BMW everywhere on the road. It's not because the sales of the car, double, triple, quadrupled overnight. It didn't. It's just that now you're acknowledging it, you're seeing it. And when I said that you see what you want to see, it's because your brain actually has a filter. Your brain actually has a filter. It's called the reticular activating system. And this filter is designed to protect your brain. Because if you really think about it, your brain sees excessive information on a daily basis. Right now, there's your laptop screen, there's the room, there's the fan, there's the this, there's that, there's a chat box going on right now. There are people who are on the screen, there are people who are not on the screen. Somebody's trying to read names, somebody's trying to do something. But fact of the matter is that we are bombarded with information. If your brain were to take everything at equal value, at face value, and say, okay, this is all the information and everything should come into my brain and my brain should treat it equally. It is so much information that our brains would literally explode. if you had to acknowledge everything. Like right now, let's say the AC remote in your room that's lying. You're not focusing on it the same way that you're focusing on this conversation, hopefully. Right? But if you were to take it at equal value, then just imagine the amount of things that you have to process. It's too much. So your brain has this filter called the reticular activating system. The name is not important. Forget it. It's a filter. And this filter lets in information that it feels is relevant for your situation and keeps out certain information that is not relevant for your situation in that moment, right? So when you say things like, I want to buy a red BMW. Oh, wow, a lot of people are buying Thar. Your brain, that filter, has decided, oh, this is relevant information. Now you need to start seeing it. So you suddenly start seeing more of these things because your brain has to now go and look for evidence in alignment with your filter. So it's literally like the channi, the filter, the sieve has got reprogrammed to let in that information. It was already there, but it was like a blind spot. So when you say, this colleague of mine doesn't respect me, what is your brain going to do? Your brain is going to go and look for evidence that you're not respected. When you say, I am short-tempered, this filter is programmed to look for occasions and opportunities and saying, see, I couldn't help it. This is what happened. Look how they treated me. And you triggered and you lose your temper. When I say I'm bhulakkar, I am looking for evidence of being forgetful. All of us are forgetful at some point. But am I forgetful as a person? I might have had a forgetful moment. But if I start believing, then I start looking for evidence because the filter is now giving me more evidence in that space. And so that starts informing my behavior going forward, saying, yeah, see, it happened again. I know. I am forgetful. So it just keeps reinforcing the belief because your brain is looking for evidence only to support that. And it's not supporting an alternate belief at all. Right? So we have this filter, but the beauty is it's your filter. And so you can reprogram it. It's yours. It's not anybody else's. Like your house, your car, you can fix it. You can train it. Right? And one of the things in order to train is that we need to start acknowledging a different reality might exist. You may not believe that it does exist, but you've got to understand that you don't know everything. You're not seeing everything. You're not hearing everything. You're only hearing what your filter is allowing you to hear. And so when you go through life with that understanding and with that acknowledgement, you realize that सब कुछ मुझे नहीं पता है. Mera filter, my filter is allowing me to see the map this way. And somebody else is seeing the map differently. Have you ever got into a very heated argument with somebody over politics? Yeah. Or about how to bring up children, to give phone, not to give phone, screen time, no screen time, on how to manage money, invest, save. We all have very strong beliefs on what is, aisa, this. It's because you are seeing the world a certain way. Maybe you value security a lot, safety a lot. So for you, something that feels right, for somebody else feels like, my God, how boring. Why should I invest for 7%? Because maybe safety is not an important value to them. They value, high risk, high return kind of setup. And your values decide, right? Where you'll go left or right, the sailboat. That's one. But the second thing is that because that is their filter, their map of the world looks very different from your map of the world. So you are going through life basis your reality. They are going through life basis their reality. And what we all need to acknowledge is that there is my reality, there is your reality, and then there is the reality. Because can any map have every possible geographical feature marked on it accurately? Not possible. कुछ तो छूटेगा, right? So there isn't any map that is so, the maps that we are functioning on the basis of are broad understandings, broad boundaries. So there is my map that I'm seeing, there's your map that you're seeing, and then there's the actual earth, which we don't know in its entirety, which is the reality, right? And the minute you understand that your filter is coloring your reality and understanding of the world, two things happen. One, the beliefs and the boxes that you hold for yourself, that you hold yourself within, they start getting acknowledged at least. You start acknowledging कि अच्छा भाई ये डब्बा है, there is this box that I'm functioning in. The second thing that happens is that it eases our interactions with the people we function with, or we live with, or we work with. Because when you're getting into a big fight, big argument, how dare or how can you believe, or you're getting into a heated discussion about nahi aisa hi hai, you've got to remember that, listen, they are talking to you because on their laptop there's a different screen, a different map. On your laptop, your life, your view is a different map. And so you may be looking at the world differently. The minute you acknowledge that, you can't have a very heated debate. You may agree to disagree at some point. You may agree to see the world. You might come to a midpoint understanding. कि अच्छा चलो थोड़ा तुम्हारा थोड़ा मेरा. But even if you don't come to an understanding, you will definitely not feel so anxious and triggered all the time. How dare they? समझ नहीं आ रहा इनको, लॉजिकल नहीं है. Why can't they get it? Isn't it obvious? Isn't this common sense? It's common sense for you because it is basis your filter. Their common sense is common for them because it is basis their filter. And everybody's common sense is different. So the minute you see it, you can't unsee it. And you will find that you start having more authentic discussions with people. You start having more authentic interactions with people. You get triggered less. And more than anything else, if you really put in the effort, you can change the beliefs about yourself, right? Yes, correct, Mohanji. For most human beings, perception is reality. It's what we're perceiving. It is not the reality. It is our reality in the moment, which might change next Saturday. Our perception might evolve and change. So how do you then reprogram this filter when it comes to your own personal beliefs? Now, it's a very simple tool. And people misunderstand how powerful this simple tool can be, right? It's not rocket science. It's simple, but it's not easy. What I mean by simple is that it's not rocket science. You don't need to have a PhD in physics to understand it. Very simple. But it's not easy because it requires us to do something differently than we have done in the past, right? So reprogramming the filter, you need to understand that you have a thought, right? Any thought. I am bhulakkad, just to carry that on. I am forgetful. Now, this thought becomes repeated thought. Did you know that you have 80,000 thoughts a day on an average? 60 to 80,000. For most of us, 80,000. Women, definitely 80,000. Men maybe 60,000. It's fact, women tend to think more. That's what we've been told. And a lot of scientific experiments kind of uh, reinforce that, which is why they say women need to sleep a little longer as well to unwind their brain. But women's brains work 90% even when they're sleeping, which is why they can hear the khatka, they can hear the kid cry, and a guy will probably sleep through it. And I'm not generalizing, there may be exceptions either way, but that's the majority, right? So if you're having 80,000 thoughts a day, how many thoughts do you think are new thoughts? Nobody's having 80,000 new thoughts a day. If you were, you'd be writing books left, right, and center. You wouldn't be able to control yourself if you had 80,000 new thoughts a day. 95, 99% of those thoughts are repeated thoughts. Repeat, 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 repeat. So a thought becomes a repeated thought. Any thought that is repeated repeatedly becomes a pattern, right? Becomes a pattern of thinking, becomes a pattern of behaving then, because your repeated thoughts create patterns and those patterns create a behavior. And when you had the same repeated thought, the same pattern, you have the same behavior. And when you have the same behavior, it becomes a part of your identity. It becomes a part of your identity. But I want you to write this down. Identity is not built from truth then, right? Because it's not coming from truth. It's coming from repetition. Your thought becomes a repeated thought, becomes a pattern, becomes a behavior, becomes your identity. So where is identity coming from? It's not coming from any truth or reality. It is coming only from repetition. So you need to now start repeating something new, something different, because identity is built from repetition. So a lot of people say, oh, I've done affirmations, I've done visualization, I've done. How long? Because you have had 80,000 crappy thoughts a day for the last 30, 40 years. And you've done visualization and affirmations for 10 days. You think it can override what you've done for 30 years? It takes time. It doesn't take another 30 years, fortunately. And I'll explain to you why. But it does take some time, right? So you visualize, you rephrase what you're saying, the stories that you're telling yourself, you rephrase them. So I don't call myself forgetful. I say, oh, yeah, I'll remember. Don't worry, I'll remember. No, you don't have to remind me, I'll remember. I'm just telling my mind that, right? Your mind's like a 2-year-old. Repeat, 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 repeat. I'm telling my mind I'll remember. And now when I tell my mind I'll remember, my filter is saying I'll remember. So I will remember. I don't say I won't remember. I say I will remember. I'll remember. Yeah, of course. Don't worry. I'll remember. It's a small shift, but big change, right? Now, how do you visualize, right? You can't clean your whole house in one go. पूरा घर एक दिन में नहीं साफ हो सकता. So you might have 10 beliefs that you don't like about yourself. Please don't try to change all 10 of them together. It doesn't work. Take one, like I am short-tempered. Take any one belief about yourself. I am not respected. I'm not loved. Take any one area of improvement only. Start there. We'll get to the others. When you move to a new house, what do? You want to set up the kitchen, set up the bedroom and say, Baki baad mein. We'll do the rest later. Right? Why? Because you know you can't fix everything in one day. So start with the essential stuff. It doesn't mean you won't clean the rest of your house or you won't set up the rest of your house. Of course you will, but you have to start somewhere. So focus on one area of improvement. Now, for just a few moments, I want you to close your eyes. And just try and imagine how will you know when you have it? When you fixed it, when you've trained your mind differently, how will you know that it's fixed? So if I'm short-tempered, you're seeing yourself having calm conversations with people. You're seeing yourself, you have your family members saying, my God, how much you've changed, yeah? You're such a patient person. You can disagree very calmly. You can have a debate. Like, just visualize. If you feel you're not respected, just imagine people walking up to you, shaking your hands. Maybe you're going up on stage and people are congratulating you. Just understand see in your mind's eye what all will be happening if this belief were changed to a better one. So what does it look like? What are the people around you saying? What is happening? Where are you? What are you wearing? How are you speaking? Who's acknowledging you? Now I want you to just imagine, what does it feel like? What's the emotion that's coming up? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling proud? Are you feeling, on top of the world? You're feeling at peace. You're feeling calmer. What is it that you are feeling? Now hold this emotion and just imagine that there is a movie playing. Whenever you feel the movie is colorful enough, bright enough, whenever that situation is ideal, take a mental snapshot of it. Click. Now you've got this snapshot. You've kind of figured what you're feeling, the emotion that you're holding. Now I want you to open your eyes. You can open your eyes whenever you feel you have it. Now, why did I get you to do this? So I've heard visualization over and over and over again. And it was something I genuinely struggled with. Because आज मैं आंख बंद करती हूँ तो कुछ नजर आता है, कल आंख बंद करती हूँ तो कुछ और नजर आता है. One day I'm seeing something, the second day I'm seeing something else. And it just becomes a very tiring exercise. Like, you don't feel energized after it. You just start, I had started feeling exhausted, saying, oh God, I have to visualize again now. Like, it doesn't feel like something fun to do. It starts feeling like an exercise, like a very tedious exercise. And what I'm sharing with you is my own experimentation with visualization. And it's a decent way to start, especially for someone who's not done it before or for someone who struggles to do it. If you're a master visualizer, please stick to whatever technique you have. But if you're not, then this one will work, because I struggled. Yeah, I'm one of those students, who failed, and then finally figured it out. So I'll give you the simplest, easiest way to pass. It's like when you're bad in maths, you become a good math teacher because you're telling the basics. If you're good at math, you assume, array, this you know, this you know, this you know. These 10 principles are a given. Not given for me. So I want you to have this mental photograph that you took. Picture the snapshot that you took. Now, find an anchor. What it means is that you've got to find something that brings up this emotion and this image quickly. So I find music is the best. Find a song that kind of fits this emotion that you are feeling, right? Find a song that works. For example, you want a loving partner, and it could be your partner where the energy and your interaction between you and your partner changes. But then you can't have a song like Guru Bhai Aa Gya Re, or some rap number, or some, like, try and find a song that generates that emotion just because it's music, right? I mean, imagine watching a movie without sound or playback or background score. Horror movies would not have any horror. Romantic movies would have no romance. Music brings up emotion most easily than anything else. So the minute you have a song, you'll find that going back into that emotional mode is very easy. And visually, if you struggle with figuring out what should I visualize, I don't even know, today it's something, tomorrow it's something, now you've got the snapshot. So close your eyes and just go back to that photograph. Start from there. If you can't go beyond that, just stick to the photograph and listen to the song. Put on earphones, listen to the song, see the snapshot. Listen to the song, see the snapshot. You do it for a couple of days, maybe a week or 10 days. You will find that just when that song comes on, you don't even need to visualize. You're automatically in that zone. So for example, you say, I am not short-tempered. I am calm. I'm patient. And you've got a song with that. In office or at work or at home, you feel you're getting very agitated. You may not have the energy to visualize, but you can pop in your headphones and listen to that song, and you will find that it immediately, shifts your energy, shifts your mindset in that moment. Right? So visualize. And you can take a screenshot of this if you want.
It's too, I don't know. It's not very clear, ma'am. How can we take a screenshot?
Okay. Are you on the phone and not on the laptop?
No, I'm on the laptop, but
Yeah.
still
Now can
it's
you see it?
a little better, but the background is blue, it will never give clear snapshot.
Oh, I don't know. I can see it clearly.
I'll share, ma'am.
Seeing and photographing are different, ma'am.
Okay, doesn't matter. I'll send it to Shivani and she will share it you in your Now, I said visualize, rephrase. So find a phrase that works for you, right? I am confident in my abilities. I believe in my potential to achieve greatness. I'm deserving of all the good things life has to offer. I am enough just as I am. I honor and prioritize my well-being. I am worthy of experiencing deep and meaningful connections. I treat myself with kindness and compassion. I am worthy of success and prosperity. I attract positive opportunities. I am constantly growing and evolving. I embrace happiness. I'm a unique individual with valuable perspectives. So instead of saying, I don't respect or people don't respect me, or I'm short-tempered, or I'm not loved and I'm not liked, or I don't get the results of my hard work. Instead of saying that, we've got to find better phrases, right? I'm deserving of success in all areas of my life. I'm worthy of respect and consideration from others. I'm a magnet for abundance. I'm deserving of happiness and joy. I choose to focus on my strengths and celebrate them. If you're very self-critical, that is. I appreciate who I am. So these are just a few and we'll send them. But point is, the internet is filled. You can just find a phrase that works for you and use it like a mantra. Like Three Idiots, the movie had all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. You have to distract your mind when it's going into a downward spiral, right? The reason I bring this up is you've got the song, you've got the snapshot. And if you can spend a couple of minutes every morning with that snapshot and that song, it will anchor it and reinforce that. A new belief and a new identity. Because now instead of having repeated thoughts, you are interrupting it with a different thought. And try and repeat it as much as possible. But in moments when you feel that you're slipping, especially in that one area that you're working on. Right now, we're not cleaning the whole house. We're focusing on one area. So whenever you feel you're slipping, if you have a phrase that can be your fallback. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. Like you have that phrase every time your mind is going into a downward spiral or is going back into the old pattern of thinking. you've got to interrupt it with this phrase. You have to interrupt it. You can't say I don't know, it just happened. How can it just happen? It's your mind. It's like saying, listen, my car just drove into the wall on its own. Your car is not driving it. You are driving the car. Your brain is your brain. You can drive it. It doesn't drive you. But most of us are sitting in the car with our hands off the steering wheel saying, I don't know, my car drives itself. It doesn't. If the car is driving itself and it's not a Tesla, the chances are that it's going to have either a minor mishap or a major mishap, which happens all day long. Aaj isse ladai ho gayi, aaj usse argument ho gaya. You have some kind of a little dust up with something or someone through the day, because you are not taking charge of your car. Your car is driving you. So in order to disrupt these old patterns, you start your morning, spend 5 minutes. I'm saying you don't have 5 minutes, spend 3 minutes. It could be in the toilet. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like in this very, meditative pose, sitting. It could be anywhere. While you're having your morning cup of tea, stacking, habit stacking is good. So if you want to do visualization religiously, regularly, attach it to a habit you already have. So if you have a cup of tea or coffee in the morning, attach it to that. Think, because you're going to have your tea and cup of tea, your cup of tea or coffee. It is a reminder saying, okay, I'm now attaching visualization to this habit that already exists. Or you spend 20 minutes on the throne every morning in the washroom. Then saying, okay, my first 3 minutes are going to be visualization. So it doesn't matter where, but you attach it to a habit that already exists. You'll find that you'll be able to do it more rather than say, I will take out special time. Special time will never come. So you start with this in the morning, but the rephrase is important. The rephrase is important because the rephrase is a way to come back to a better state of mind. Now, how many of you at some point in your life had tried to eat healthy? Whether it's for weight reasons or for health reasons, but at some point you've tried to say, I want to have a better intake. Okay. Now, if you do visualization in the morning, it's like saying, I want a very healthy, high protein breakfast. But then for lunch, you've had chola bhatura. And for evening tea, you've had samosa and pakoda with 2 cups of tea with 4 spoons of sugar in it. That morning healthy breakfast, egg whites only, or, some quinoa or whatever, it's all useless. I had a sprout salad for breakfast. Great. What did you have for lunch? Chola bhatura. Your good health diet plan is gone out the window. So you can do this 5-minute visualization in the morning, but if through the day you're eating junk, it's not going to work. Now, I also want you to visualize something else, and maybe this analogy will stick. If you pick up something from the road and eat it, point is, will you? You won't. Why won't you? It's just yuck.
No. Never.
And even if you did it, the chances of you falling ill or sick are very, very high. And there are times when you've eaten some junky stuff, some street food. The minute you eat it, you're like, and you know exactly what you ate, which is making you sick, right? Everybody knows that, right? Has experienced it at some point. You know that when you eat dirty, crappy food, you will fall sick. And you take in saying, yeah, man, I ate those golgappas there. I shouldn't have. You know that. And you're careful next time. But our mind is consuming nonsense all the time. And then you're surprised when you're sick, when you're having negative thoughts, when you're not feeling good about your life or about yourself. How can we be surprised if you're going to eat junk, consume junk what do you think is going to happen? You will not feel healthy. You will fall sick. So the way we are conscious of what we are putting into our mouth, we have to be equally conscious what we are putting into our mind. What are we consuming? So I'm giving you easy diet plan. And diet आप ही को manage करनी पड़ती है. Dietitian, doctor सिर्फ plan दे सकते हैं. A dietitian can give you a diet. Following it is your responsibility. A doctor can give you medicine saying, oh God, I've got headache, take Disprin, whatever. I've got an infection. You have to have antibiotic twice a day for 5 days. I mean, the doctor can't come and monitor whether you're having it twice a day for 5 days. You go back again sick. They'll say, did you have it twice a day for 5 days? No, actually, after 3 days, I stopped having because I was feeling better. I forgot. Nobody's going to come and remind you. It's what are you consuming? What are you putting in is in your control. And you have to start being more mindful of it. So when your mind is going into this downward spiral, you have to have something that will interrupt the repetitive thought. That's where rephrase comes in. Visualization we've understood with an anchor, with a song. But rephrase is a way to interrupt that thought pattern. It's like the all is well. It's the mantra you go back to. Every time you feel that, okay, I'm now going to start eating some junk food, you have to tell yourself, no, 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 no. I am confident. I am, whatever phrase that you have found. And don't identify 10. You'll not even remember them. Identify one and mug it up. And that's your go-to. For some people, it could be a religious prayer or like I don't know, Hanuman or something that you do. It could be anything. The point is that you have to disrupt the repetitive thinking patterns, the old pattern. You can do it with an affirmation. You can do it with a rephrased statement. You can do it with any other, mantra that you use. But you have to interrupt that thought because you have to eat healthier.
And I, ma'am, I
And
think
so that's where the rephrase comes in. Sorry, I'll just open for questions.
yeah.
And every time you feel that you have eaten junk, like now the deed is done and you're falling and going into a downward spiral, just do a 90-second bounce back. It's a breathing technique. So you control your breath. 4 counts in and 6 counts out. 1, 2, 3, 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counts out. And you keep doing this breathing. And then you reset the cue. You rephrase. You either listen to the song that you have that will change your mood, or you have the rephrase or that statement. And you ask yourself a question. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, depending on what is going on, just ask yourself a question because it'll interrupt that thought. Instead of going in loop, pose a question. Say, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah. Why am I mean, what I'm thinking, is this a fact or is it a feeling? Let's say, you goofed up, your boss found out and you're feeling stressed. And you're, oh my God, my boss is going to kill me. Is it a fact or is it a feeling? It's a feeling. It's going to be angry, but the point is, it's a feeling. It's not going to kill you. Right? Simple action anchor could be, you can just anything. You can clap, you can stand up, you can pat your thighs, you can, snap your fingers, just something that will break this pattern. And if all of this is sounding complicated, then do a double inhale and a single exhale. What is a double inhale? You inhale, long inhale, and then a second shorter inhale because you won't be able to have a second long inhale. And then a very slow single exhale. Through your mouth. So inhale through your nose, 2 inhales and a single exhale through your mouth very slowly. You will find that whatever spiral you're going down, it'll stop it, right? So visualize, rephrase, breathe. These are ways in which you can manage this new diet that I have given you. It's simple, it's easy, and it allows you to manage your emotions better. Because every feeling has been mapped now, huh? It has a frequency. Hertz is the measurement of frequency. And every emotion has been mapped to a frequency. Whatever you're feeling is the frequency at which you're vibrating is your current reality. What is the feeling that you have once in a while? That doesn't matter. What is the feeling that you hold most of the day because of all these repetitive thoughts? Majority of your day is going in which emotion? And that's the frequency you're stuck at. Right? Shame and guilt are very shallow, low frequencies. Anger, pride, courage, middle of the joy, peace, enlightenment are all 500, 600, 700 hertz. It's like the radio station. If you're listening to 102.6 FM, you will hear the songs that are played on 102.6 FM. If you don't like the radio station, you can abuse the radio station, but it's not going to change the music. The only way you're going to hear a different song is when you change the radio station, which means you've got to change the frequency from 102.6 to whatever, 108.2. So if you're not liking how you're feeling through the day, what I've shared will allow you to start building on and changing the frequency that you're carrying through the day. Because you've got this visualization, you've got the song takes you in a different emotional space. That emotional space has a better frequency. And you'll start seeing better results, better relationships, better conversations, better things in life, better opportunities. And if nothing else works, if your life is in a really, really tough spot, just be grateful for what you have. Gratitude is actually even above 700. Just be thankful. It doesn't mean you can't aspire for more. It just means that while you're aspiring for more, I'm grateful for what I have got so far. These are just some easy things. And really, if you want to play this game of personal development, growth, enlightenment, joy, peace, success, then you've got to have a better routine, and nothing better than a powerful morning routine. A powerful morning routine has something for your soul, which could be meditation, prayer, just quiet time, something for your heart, could be journaling, gratitude, visualization, family time, something for your mind, reading, writing down your goals, planning your day, and something for your body, walk, yoga, run. I'm saying if you can't do anything else, just do 5 jumping jacks in your pajamas before you take a shower. That is doable for everybody. And now I'll close, but I want you to understand that every game has rules. When you start playing badminton, the coach will first teach you the rules. You start playing cricket, the first thing you're taught when you pick up a new sport is first you're giving the rules. This is the court, this is out, this is in, this is 6, this is 4. You're taught the rules. Life is also a game. And you have to learn the rules. You may not agree with everything I've shared, but fact of the matter, those are the rules. It's like you can debate that, ball over in cricket, the ball over the fence should be 8 runs. You may want it to be 8 runs, but it's still going to be 6. So if you learn the rules, practice every day, you build your mental muscle, and that's when you unbox your potential for joy because you're mastering the game. Now you're enjoying playing. When you start learning skating, for example, you're falling every day. You're not enjoying it because you're falling on your bum all the time. But the minute you learn balance or cycling, when you're falling, it's no fun. But the minute you've mastered the rules, You've started cycling. You may not be cycling very well, but you're balancing now. Then cycling becomes fun. Wind in your hair. Some of you don't have hair. But you start enjoying that, right? So you have to start practicing so that you get better at it. And when you get better at it, you will start enjoying it. Ignoring the rules, you can, but you're not going to enjoy the game of life because you don't understand why some people are getting it and some are not, because they've got the rules. They're playing by the rules. So I wish you all the very best. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
No, it's not a question, but what I think life on a daily basis, I mean, most of us let us accept we are led by primarily by our feelings. One. Secondly, international research shows that the human mind thinks of negativities more. Now, you are asking people to shift from a feeling and negativity to something which is positive, which is rational. I think these are two very different domains of feelings and domains of thoughts. And to shift from feelings to thought is not an easy thing. So
Correct.
when you expect
It isn't.
people, it isn't. So my feelings develop my habit, but my habit is not my thought. My habit is still at the level of feelings, and thoughts are conscious efforts. You're expecting people to be from feelings to thoughts, and a conscious effort is.
No, that's exactly what I said. I said what I'm going to tell you is simple but not easy. That's something that I said right at the start.
Yeah, but beautiful explanation.
Second thing that I shared is
you have an
said
excellent
that, coming from feeling and emotion, which is why I said you can't fix your whole house in one day. Start with one simple thing.
Yeah, great explanation, man. You're a great teacher.
No, it's not about a great teacher. I'm only sharing from my experience. I'm sure you have different experiences.
No, a capacity to convince others and influence others is strongest in you.
Well, I don't know whether that was a compliment or not, but
it was.
I choose to take it as a compliment. Thank you so much.
It was. It's not an easy art which people have. I don't think it's science. It's an art.
Maybe a combination of both.
But no.
All right. I'd like to finish. When you said that our behaviors are driven by emotion. Yes, that's true, because behavior is handled by the limbic system, right? The neocortex or the new brain. Our brain has many parts, and I'm not getting into the science of the brain. But what she shared was true, because the neocortex is the Homo sapien, the new brain. The new brain manages logic, data, language. The limbic system, the animal brain, the old brain, it controls your emotions and it controls your behavior. So yes, behavior is coming from emotion, but emotion is coming from repetitive thoughts. And at some point, this cycle has to somebody has to put a spoke in the wheel, right? At some point, someone has to disrupt the pattern. Some people do it, and there are different ways to do it. I've only shared one. There are people who start working on their physical body. They start working on their physical body for whatever reason they are able to do it. Somebody's able to, they obsess about going to the gym, but going to the gym gives them a different emotion and a different high, and they're able to change their behavior and their thought patterns in a different manner. For somebody, going to the temple or meditating works. For somebody, something else works. So somebody goes inward, analyzes, understands, and tries to go and change their patterns from there. And for somebody, the triggers are external. So there is no one way, one right, correct way to shift behavior. Right? Yes, emotion is driving it, which is why I gave you an anchor of that song, because that changes your emotion. And when you're in a better emotion, it becomes a little easier to make a different choice rather than the old, same, repetitive choice. So I hope I've been able to address the query that you had. I don't disagree with what you said. I'm just saying that there are many ways in which people change themselves. And I have shared one, right?
Yes, yes. And an excellent English, which is also very convincing and very good. Thank you.
Tanvi,
Yes,
I had
Dr.
one question.
Hanji.
See, with all humbleness, I am saying that I have converted all my feelings and thoughts in positive. Matlab, I
So
practice
good.
on that. So, what I want to convey by practice, this can be done.
Mhm.
It is like, eating the food every day,
Mhm.
sleeping every day. So, we have to do a periodical practice on this to see that we have only positive feeling, positive thoughts, converting negative experience also in positive. That is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Super.
Thank you.
That is so nice
Thank
and
you.
inspiring. Yeah, Dr. Rakesh, Dr. Major Rakesh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
It was such a wonderful session, ma'am. I was totally imbibed into your words and thoughts. I really enjoyed it. It was like a rejoicing. Uh, actually, I tried visualization many, many times, but I failed. And again, as you said, it was like giving an exam or viva, and it was very disturbing for me. Yeah. So today it's a really a good click. And one question what I have, ma'am, when I entered the corporate world, so I could see 95% of the people who are not happy with the jobs, the work, the income, the increments, bonuses, multiple things. So it was disturbing to me, and I didn't feel that's a healthy way. So I stopped uh, communicating with them, talking to them, or avoiding them. But as I grew up in the ladder and became a senior lead, I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't avoid my peers, colleagues, or my own teammates or my seniors. So, how can I cope up with those negative thoughts in my environment?
Can I answer your question?
Please go ahead.
Yes.
Can I? See, we are human beings are like, imagine a pool where there is lots of dirt, right? But the lotus still can bloom in that. So a lotus plant makes a conscious effort, and that is what is expected of a human being. We are rational. We have to take a positive step. Sometimes we have to, if we reflect a little bit, we decide whether we are going to be a part of that dirty water, or am I going to be a lotus which blooms and gives joy to myself and others. I think that should be your answer.
It's very true, ma'am. Lotus can grow in dirty water, but if we plant the same lotus seed on the ground, it can never grow, right?
Yeah. So
So
orient
that's
your
what is my
thoughts.
problem is.
No, it's not your problem. It's a weak human mind which lets oneself be oriented where you don't want to. But as a human being, we have to make a conscious effort and regular effect. That is what Tanvey madam has been saying, right? Orient yourself out of habit, out of an icon, out of music. These are ways of by which we do it. And if we want ourselves to improve, then it is a conscious effort. And we can, like, it's, if I say improve 1% every day, imagine what will happen to you in 3 months time. 100% improvement. And that is what is a human being. We don't go through life, we grow through life. I think I'm clear when I make these two statements. We go through life is physical, but when you grow through life, it brings about a difference. And that is what we want.
Thank you, Manglaji. I think we have to wrap up the session. So one more question from Gaurav and a quick answer to Dr. Major Rakesh. The process I've shared, don't try to focus on the result of what this process will do. For this one negative thought and feeling, this feeling of inadequacy that you have, just follow the process for 40 days. You'll start seeing a difference in 7 to 10 days. Just start following it. Think of it as applying a formula. You don't know what is the answer that is going to come. Don't stress about the answer. Don't focus on oh God, if I do it, will I feel better? When will I feel better? Why am I not feeling better right now? Don't get into all of that. Every time your thoughts are going down into the spiral, go back to the three. Visualize, rephrase, breathe. Do any one of them. Whatever is coming easily in that moment, because you have to just break that pattern of that's the conscious thought that today I'm not going to eat chola bhatura for lunch. I'm not going to eat junk. I'm going to make a conscious choice. Do I feel like eating chola bhatura? Of course, negative thoughts will come easily. You'll be tempted. And some days you'll eat. But then you come back and say, okay, tomorrow, that's it. Enough junk, no more. Right? Just
Yes.
follow that, the 3-step formula, and you will find that you start shifting. Don't focus so much on when it'll happen, how long it will take. That's what stresses us out. Just follow it, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. Thank you.
Gaurav, last question, Hanji.
Yes. Tanvi ma'am, good morning and
Good
great.
morning.
And thank you for sharing all these insights and for breaking pattern. Just one reflection. So I'm learning from different coaches on productivity as well as on leadership. And 3 weeks back, suddenly what happened? One coach said, Gaurav, looks like your learning agility is getting stopped because it was of behavior and pattern because you're learning the same thing from us back to back. So coach themselves said, then whenever we answer anything or and whenever we share anything, how many times you know what I'm going to share? I said almost every time. They said yes. So they told me now it's the time you go for some other coach, though we don't want to lose you anytime because you are sharing a lot. And same thing happened with the second coach. That person also repeating the things. So I break my pattern first time and I hired one another coach, which is a peak performance coach and 10x coach. And that person proved me within 2 weeks that I should not be loyal to my current identity. So it is not easy. You rightly said step by step, but thankfully, because it was a personalized coach, the person is knocking my pattern back to back.
Yeah,
And whichever you said, I'm really resonating that you have to, if you want to change the pattern, want to go into the new identity, you have to almost eliminate 90% of the things which you are doing currently. Take
correct.
a pause.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I'm glad that you are putting in the effort on yourself. I think it's a very it's an investment that will reap many rewards. Most of us hesitate to invest in our own learning. When you have to pay for a course or a coach or a program, we
Yeah,
think 10 times because of our own beliefs about ourselves and our inadequacies. And it's easier to spend on somebody else for so many of us, right, than to put in that money on ourselves. But it really, if you have a good coach, it really does, um, or a good program, it
yeah,
really does help you to break those patterns because you've got a partner now who's with you on that journey. So amazing.
absolutely. They accelerate your journey,
Yeah,
and
yeah, they do. Yeah, they
and it
do.
always give multifold results. It is my 4 years of investment on me. Earlier I was not. Now I don't hesitate. I just invest if I have time to give my 100% to the program. I do go for it. Thank you so much
Fabulous.
for sharing.
Fabulous. Lovely sharing. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I leave it up to you, Shivani, to decide how you'd like to take this one.
Thank you. It was great conversations, great insights that were discussed. And I have a very simple and unique technique to shift our moods and emotions. That's I have named it "Switch with a Smile." So, how you are going to switch when you are feeling negative or your mood is low? How you can switch? Simply start smiling, and with this smile, it may be fake. You might be feeling low in that moment, uh, because you cannot stay in two emotions at the same time. And the smile brings you a joy, a kind of happiness. So it's a conscious decision. I would also like to add that in the moments of decision, it's where your destiny is shaped. So yesterday only I was giving the talk, and this conversation, this modality that I developed was discussed. So it was like, why should I? I must consciously make a decision that why should I waste my next moment, my next minute, my next days or weeks just because something happened or someone come and said something to me that spoiled my moods or my emotions or my thinking patterns. So it's a conscious decision. And how can you switch? You cannot switch by thinking of the same thing that happened that destroyed your moods, right? In that case, just shift your thinking towards something that gives you joy. Something, maybe the person whom you love, or maybe your children, or something that has been a wonderful experience for you in the past. So when we shift our attention, you can also, when we shift our attention, what happens, the feeling of joy overtakes us and we forget that thing. So it might be that the other person who has hurted us, they are in a different zone, they are doing something, they might be enjoying, and we are still holding that thing within us. Another modality, I would say, it's practicing Ho'oponopono as well, which when we practice it with wholeheartedly, it actually shifts our inner negative thinking patterns and releases the grudges that we hold, forgiving the person or the situation that destroyed our moods. These are a few of the techniques. Definitely, as you also mentioned, gratitude helps us a lot when we find situations to find out why we must be grateful for that situation, what it is teaching us. Definitely, it helps us. That was my final thoughts that I had. Thank you for a wonderful session and your time. So, Rajvi, Coach Aarti has to say something. Shall we take?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Shivani.
Please go
Happy
ahead.
morning to everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate Tanvi's efforts and how she put all the metaphors and stories which helped in breaking the patterns people might be having. So it was just wonderful to listen to you. Thank you so much. It is indeed a session which is going to give results to people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Have a great week ahead. Well, weekend coming up, but the week after that as well. Please enjoy yourselves. Thank you, Shivani, for having me over, and I wish this community the very best.
Most
Bye-bye.
welcome, and thank you to you for your time
Thank
and
you.
all your knowledge. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye, everyone.